What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of What is Health? And today we're going to be talking about stomach acid. So the past 5 videos, we've really been addressing the foundations of health, right? We've got hydration, blood sugar regulation, digestion, mineral balance, all those fun things. If you haven't checked those out, I really encourage you to do so. But I wanted to take the next step in this series and kind of focus on the smaller things. Let's isolate some issues. Let's look at what they are, what they cause, and how to fix them. So this first episode is on stomach acid. Stomach acid is a huge proponent in digestion and absorption of nutrients. It can cascade into so many things. It can cascade into blood sugar regulation, hormonal dysfunction. It can affect your immune system, your endocrine system, all these things. And so we need to look at what causes low stomach acid, what happens when you have low stomach acid, and what we can do to fix low stomach acid. So let's talk about that. So let's give you a scenario and we'll break it down piece by piece. So you have a man, he's distracted, he's in a rush, he's eating steak for lunch. So he eats this steak. The steak is full of bioavailable nutrients, vitamin B's, iron, all this amazing stuff, zinc. And so he eats it, but he's in a rush. So his stomach acid is quite low. He's also chugging a carbonated beverage. So he eats this steak. And you have to understand that when your body, specifically hydrochloric acid, when it's not at a high level, your body doesn't really get to break down the food properly. So your body has a system of turning food into what's called chyme. Chyme is the sludge that we refer to that food becomes as it passes into your small intestine for assimilation and absorption. So if your stomach acid's low, your body has a hard time creating that substance. And so your body will let the food sit until it's properly broken down. If it sits too long, it starts to rancidify the fats inside the meat. If you have carbs, they start to ferment. This produces gases and it pushes stomach acid up into the esophagus. This is known as acid reflux. People take antacids and it just makes the stomach acid lower. It just makes the problem worse. It really is a band-aid to a problem that needs stitches. So oftentimes people accuse acid reflux of a symptom of high stomach acid, when really generally it's a symptom of low stomach acid. So your body sits there and it's trying to break this down. Acid reflux, pop antacid, what have you, makes it even worse. Your body doesn't properly get the food to a high enough or low enough acidic level on the pH scale. And eventually your body says, you know what, this has to go through. It can't just sit here. So it pushes it through into the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine. Now we'll get into the small intestine more in another video, but for this video, for this subject, let's understand that at a certain acidic level, the chyme triggers responses from different glands, things like the pancreas, gallbladder, that release enzymes and biles to help assimilate the nutrients that's in the chyme. So when the food passes through at not the right acidic level and not the right level of being broken down, it doesn't really trigger these sequences efficiently. And so we see very little assimilation of nutrients absorption, right? It doesn't pass through well. It doesn't get assimilated well. Those vitamin Bs, that iron, all that doesn't really get absorbed well. And we see this cascade all the way into the colon, vitamin K, all those things that we can become very, very nutrient deficient in. And as we've talked about in other ones, mineral balance, minerals are cofactors for, hormone production and immune production. And so if we're not absorbing these, you could see how this can affect everything. And it all started with low stomach acid. What's even crazier though is that for stomach acid to be created, for HCl, for your body to produce HCl, it needs iron and vitamin Bs. So the meat that he was eating that didn't get properly broken down had the very things he needed to produce stomach acid. So we see this busy man eating meat and not absorbing it properly. And so now the next time when he goes to eat again, his stomach acid production is even more deficient and he's still busy. And so it gets lower and lower and lower. And that's why one thing that we see with low HCl, one of the side effects is loss of taste of meat. We see this often where people have busy, stressful lives and they stop craving red meat. They stop craving other kinds of sources of animal proteins, specifically ones that have a lot of vitamin Bs and iron and zinc, because these things are harder to break down, but they're also needed to produce the stomach acid to break them down. Specifically vitamin Bs and zinc. Those are the two really big ones here. Iron plays a factor, but the zinc and the vitamin Bs are huge. And so you're not breaking this down properly. And so you don't have the nutrients needed to produce stomach acid. And so we see this cascade of events to the point where they just don't think they like to taste the meat anymore. But that's generally a side effect due to low HCl. It's very common. I see it in clients all the time. So, I mean, think about that for a second. Think about how that cascade of events resulted in something that a lot of people find common and normal nowadays. But really, it's a side effect of an issue going on in your digestive system. So, what do we do about this? It's a great question. There's a couple things you can do. The first one is go look at the digestion video. Again, if you haven't seen that corner, check it out. And focus on not drinking a bunch of liquid while you're eating. Focus on your food while you eat it. Don't be super distracted while you're eating. Enjoy the food. Be in the food in the moment. Let your body and your brain know that food's coming, and it can really prime that production. If you are low on stomach acid and you've had some of the symptoms we just talked about, maybe taking an HCl supplement for a month and then titrating off of it. Basically what that means is take it for a month, and then the second month take it every other day. And then after that, take it like every 3 or 4 days, and then take it once a week, and then completely stop taking it. You really want your body to be able to do this naturally. You don't want it to be codependent on any kind of supplementation of synthetic HCl. You want your body to be able to handle this on its own. Another thing you can take is a B complex and a zinc supplement. These two are also going to help this immensely. You don't really have to get off the zinc and B complex if you don't want to, but understand that if you're properly eating and absorbing red meat and other kinds of animal proteins, and you're eating enough of it, you shouldn't need any kind of supplementation. You should be able to use the nutrients in the food properly, but you might need that as a crutch for a couple months as your body gets used to, digesting and using these vitamins and minerals that are inside of the food. And so we can see that over time, this will progress. It will get better and better and better. And you will find yourself feeling better, digesting better, and absorbing your nutrients better. And overall, having more of an optimal, holistic, healthy lifestyle. All right, guys, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.